On this episode of Under the Halo, I'll explain why I decided to rebrand the podcast and sit down with Troy Purcell to talk about early morning practices, being named the school's first new head coach in almost 20 years, and his take on why everybody shouldn't win a trophy. Let's get started.
He's talking about Carroll sports all the time. It's the Under the Halo podcast with your host, Ryan Kuhn.
Yes, this is Under the Halo, the only podcast that exclusively Carroll College athletics. I'm your host, Ryan Kuhn, and wow, it is good to finally start this up again. I was told if you're going to do something, you got to do it to the best of your ability. That's why I decided to completely redo this video podcast. We've gone through a lot of changes here at the Independent Record Sports section, and a revamped podcast came just at the right time. It's just one of the ways that I will continue to be the best source of all things Carroll College athletics. I'm in it for the long run, folks. I've been here for 9 months, survived my first Montana winter, and loving the fact that I wake up every morning and get to write and now talk about college sports. It really is a dream come true. So please, spread the word. Talk about the podcast. Let me know if you love it. Let me know if you hate it, and get the conversation going by using the hashtag #UnderTheHalo. You can subscribe and listen to the podcast on such platforms as iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify. But you can also watch each episode on YouTube. Just go to the 406 MT Sports YouTube page, type in Under the Halo, and find your favorite episode. A new one will be up every week. Also, if you're interested in advertising, please stop by the Independent Record and ask to speak with advertising manager Eric Yakowicz. We'll be right back with Carroll College football coach Troy Purcell. And we're back, Under the Halo. My name is Ryan Kuhn. I cover Carroll College athletics, and my guest this week is not other than Saints football coach Troy Purcell. Now, before I get anything, Troy, thanks for stopping by. I want my viewers to know it is 7:59 in the morning. I'm not a morning person. Luckily, I have my coffee outside, but your team is. You decided to install 5 a.m. practices. What was kind of the mindset going into that?
Yeah, first of all, thanks, Ryan. This is a great opportunity to talk about Carroll football, and have this opportunity is to get the word out there. It's pretty cool. So congratulations on this, and it's going to be a good program. 5 o'clock. We want to make sure we get all the guys there, make sure we get them all there at one time, and so and that's when it was available. So that's when we took a look at the schedule, for the spring, and we took the schedules, and then we adjusted from there and made sure all the guys were there. That was the number one thing.
With Troy's assistant coach, Alex Kastens. Alex, you graduated from Carroll. You've been assistant since 2015. How are you handling these early morning hours?
Well, it's actually, I usually get there about 2 hours before we get going. So, I got to get some things done and get a little workout in before we get the guys out there on the field. But I like it because we have everybody there in the morning, like Coach said, just to echo, what he's saying. It's important to have the entire team around all the time, especially as you get going in your first season, I think, too, to be able to have everybody understanding what we're trying to do, who we're trying to be, and what team we're trying to become.
As far as I'm concerned, you guys can have practice whenever you want. It's your program, right? Morning, afternoon, night. Troy, you're 8 months into the job. 9 months. You were hired last December after Mike Van Diest announced his retirement. When did you really find out about that retirement?
Oh no, I did not. I didn't know that Coach Van Diest was going to retire. When it happened, I think my wife even called me and said, "Hey, the Carroll job opened up," and because it's always been talked about, I guess, just among people I know here in Helena, if that would be something I'd be interested in. And sure enough, when it opened up, I had a great opportunity, and I thank Charlie Gross and Dr. Seck and for hiring me and giving me an opportunity.
I was gonna say, were you like deep in your mind, you're like, man, I really want that job? Like, right away, it kind of like clicked, or? Yeah,
you bleed purple and gold, and you play it on the field, and you have a lot of great memories here in Helena and Carroll College and the tradition of excellence that's there. It was a no-brainer to me. It's something I've always wanted, and I'm living a dream. Very humbling experience.
Talk about the interview process if you can. What really went into it. What questions were you asking? From your end, what was your selling point?
I think it's character. That was the number one thing, and to continue the mission of Carroll College, and and get that voice out there. And I think that was the number one. We never did talk about X's and O's or anything like that. After 25 25 years, 29 years of, coaching football. I picked up a couple things along the way. So, so that was the main thing, a good person in the community. They, went off reference list and just called people from all over, from Bozeman to Havard, all over the place, just to try to find some more information on me that might not be, somebody that happened to be a friend. If they're on a reference list, they're on there for a reason. So anyway, they, so they were, they did their homework and nothing came up. So it was a positive thing.
Alex, you find out Troy's the guy. How different is he than Mike and some of these other coaches you've been under?
Well, I've met quite a few head coaches now and have the privilege of working for my second one now, and they're all different, but they're all the same at the same time. As far as I believe the overall message, if you run a program right, is there's only one way to do it. That's the right way. And I think both head coaches, I've had the pleasure of working for, that's the mission every day. How do we teach our kids how to be better men, better students, and then football players after that. Sometimes we assistant coaches, we cloud the football thing first, but coach always keeps us leveled here and reminds us what we're here to do.
Troy, you come back to Helena. You have some big shoes to fill with Mike Van Diest, Petrino before him. Do you like that? I mean, is it just part of this challenge that you wanted this job for? Yeah,
there's legendary coaches, for sure, and it wasn't. I'm not going to work any less, any harder. You know what I mean? We're going to go to work. We're going to do the best we possibly can, and like I said, help these kids be successful, and that's number one goal.
I was going to say, I was looking up some information. Do you think of Tim Floyd, the Chicago Bulls after Phil Jackson or something like that, and it's a lot of pressure. But I mean, do you feel it or?
Yeah, but it's more on myself, I think.
Right.
Else and anybody in the community or anything that say, oh, you need to win, you need to do this, you have to do this. There's you have to get in the Hall of Fame later. You have, you know what I mean? There's just, we're just going to win the day. And like I said, I put more pressure on myself, to make sure this program's, being run properly, and so that's what we're going to do. We're going to take care of business and put our best foot forward and be able to look in the mirror at the end of the day, and however it turns out, it turns out.
Well, this spring, men's basketball coach Kurt Purcell, his first year, he took him to a national title game. I mean, has he joked to you? Has he joked to you about that, or has he like?
No, I'm just really happy for that program. Anytime again, it's hard to do, and it's hard to do. And congratulations to him and his staff.
Talking about Alex earlier before you guys got here, you guys start Sunday, right, for fall camp?
Yes, sir.
You got to be excited.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Finally, football. I joke that baseball has spring training, basketball has preseason games. Football, it hits you right in the face, right?
Yeah, we've had a good opportunity to have the kids here this summer. Probably 95% of our kids were here getting workouts in, and so it's good to see them and having that teamwork and that brotherhood and that family. Each morning when we get up and get the grind going, and no, it's exciting. We actually get to put the pads on again and see if in live action of the new stuff that we want to put in and see how it's going to gel and find the positive and negatives and be able to game plan and start the chess match.
So there's a lot of I'd like to talk about this team, but I want to wait for you guys to get a couple practices under your belt. One thing I want to bring up and talk about is we had Frontier Conference Football Media Day this past week, and you said something in your little spiel, Troy, that I really liked, and I think that was interesting. You said, I want competing. It's just like real life. If you're going into that job interview, you're trying to get it, and you have to go to compete, and you have to go win it. Not everybody gets a trophy in life. Kind of talk about that view a little bit.
Well, I just, it is kind of this day and age a little bit to where there's a lot of participation trophies. If you try, then you get a trophy. But, I don't know if that's a good message sometimes to be sending to people because, like I said, he's going to come back home and say, well, Mom, I tried the hardest I could and I didn't get it. And so, well, sorry, it doesn't work that way. That's not how life is.
Was this something you were kind of raised on? Or
For sure. My dad said, get a job, get a check. He said, nobody's going to give you anything.
Alex, how do you feel about this?
Oh, I completely agree. I think that you learn a lot more from losing at times and failing than you do from winning. And you find out where you stand real fast. And I think football is one of the last things in life that is still true, black or white, at the end of the day. On Saturday afternoon, you'll know, did we win or did we lose? And then when we get going on meetings on Sunday, did we win that play or did we lose that play? And you're able to give people consistent feedback, coaching, and then let them know that, hey, what you did on this play was good enough, but it can be better, or it wasn't good enough, period.
Yeah.
And certainly how I live my life, too. I was walk on here, nothing was ever given to you, just like Coach talks about, and you got to earn everything.
Really? You were walking? I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Too slow to play linebacker, and then, but it makes you, I guess, a pretty fast center. So, and I found out I could eat really well, too. So.
Where'd you go to high school?
Coeur d'Alene High School.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Very cool. In today's world, do you think this viewpoint gets looked down on? I mean, do you think parents, I want to get my parents, or I want to get my kids a participation trophy? I mean, do you think it gets looked down on at all, or?
I look down on as in the community, or
or just like parents, being like you guys are being too hard on these kids, or.
No, I think it's the same. To me, you got to just be a positive person. You know what I mean? And so let's say they're not the number one person. Well, you just got to work, and we got to train them to have, train their mortars and how they think and their mentality. And hey, you didn't win this play, but there's another play coming up. Let's just win this rep. And so that's their life mentality, and just be able to again look in the mirror at the end of the day and say, did you do everything you could? If you can, then you're okay. If you got a B on that test, you're okay. If you did everything you could, and just be a great mother or a father and a son and a teammate, and just be able to look in the mirror at the end of the day.
Again, Carroll football practice starts Sunday. It's exciting. Are we going early morning again, or?
We'll say probably 3 in the morning.
See, we're gonna have to get a sponsor for a coffee company, either Starbucks or Florence Company or something, because with these early mornings, guys, it's hurting. It's hurting.
No, we're gonna end up going probably around 9 o'clock. And
Perfect.
One in the afternoon a little bit, and so until school starts, it'll be a 9 o'clock practice in the morning.
I appreciate it, and as the first guest on the Under the Halo podcast, the revamped Under the Halo podcast, they got you guys both participation trophies.
Nice.
Well, did we win or did we lose?
That's up to your interpretation.
Yeah, we won the day.
That's right.
That was Carroll College football coach Troy Purcell and assistant Alex Kastens. My name is Ryan Kuhn, and I'll be right back to close the show. We are back under the halo. My name is Ryan Kuhn, and I want to thank Carroll College football coaches Troy Purcell and Alex Kastens for stopping by during their busy schedules. Let me add to the idea that everybody should not get a trophy. It's absolutely ridiculous. I earned this opportunity to have my own podcast, and I live this dream of being a professional sports reporter by working hard. Sure, I've had my share of disappointments and losses, whether it's not being called back for an interview or losing a job opportunity to someone I believed that wasn't as good as me. It hurts, absolutely, but that's life. This crazy life put me here in Helena, Montana, almost 1,200 miles from my hometown to Dana Point, California, sitting in front of a microphone and a camera, and talking about a small college I didn't know much about before I arrived. Would I have it any other way? Absolutely not. I love it, and I will continue to do this job to the best of my ability until I feel like it's time for me to move on or they don't want me anymore. My name is Ryan Kuhn, and thank you for joining me under the halo. Goodbye, everybody.